Hi, I'm Sam, and I've been waiting for a break in the weather so I could go and make a video, but I'm not going to get it until next week, so I couldn't go too far from the house. There are rain clouds just behind the camera, so I thought I'd just come onto a hillside above the village and make a video. I feel like I'm going to burst if I don't do this, so I have a poem to read and some thoughts to share. Last weekend, which was the one sunny day, I drove to a loch quite far from here, but it's in the middle of nowhere, so not many people go there. It's high up as well, and I sat there on this sandy beach, fringed with ice, and the loch was like a mirror. The sky was blue. In the distance were the mountains of Glencoe, topped with snow, and around me was every shade of brown and green, and the trees whispering in the wind, and I could hear the water from a stream feeding into the loch, and I sat there and just thought, I don't want to stop doing this ever. All my life I protected myself. I was terrified. I never did anything I loved. Didn't know what I loved. Didn't know who I was. And these videos, this channel, which was initially me desperately trying to decipher what the hell I was going through, asking questions. That's changed, and I'm not desperate anymore. And I think the videos are less about me trying to reveal myself as a way of seeing something hidden, and more about offering something that could be helpful to other people. And yes, a part of that is revealing what is hidden. And it's hidden from myself, who I was. So as I've said in previous videos, it's like the journey of healing. It's also a journey of awakening. And it's a return. It's a return to ourselves. It's a return to the innocence that was stolen, never completely taken, just corrupted for a time, forgotten. But we can return to that. And so at the moment, when I was sitting on the shores of that loch, I realised how much I need that. I need to be alone at the moment. I feel very delicate, mentally and emotionally. New, you could think of it that way, new. And to be alone is easier at the moment, and there is a kind of disappearance in that aloneness. You cease to be a person, and the moment reaches you completely. And I think at the moment as well, I'm still feeling sadness. It's almost unbearable at times. But that sadness is part of the healing, part of the awakening, because it's the clear seeing. It's the loss of illusion, the illusion that has protected me, that protects us from feeling what happened, feeling the terror, feeling the abuse. You can't feel that. You can't afford to feel that when you're a child. You have to stow it away for later. So, I'm 53 and I'm feeling it, and there's a lot. So I feel this sadness. But there is a resilience, a stability in that sadness, because the clarity of seeing the past as it happened, myself as I am and have been, and the world as it is. The illusion creates instability, a requirement for things to be a certain way, and when those illusions are challenged, pain. So without illusion, yeah, there's pain, but it's not destabilizing. So we must, if we want to heal, we must be willing to feel the pain. We must. But that willingness is active, it's not passive. So we make a choice, and that changes the whole dynamic. So, that sadness is there, but it is fading. It is fading. And I am here. So the vulnerability I felt, the excruciating vulnerability I felt after every video when I first started doing this, was the fear of showing myself, saying, here I am. Because the self had learned that everything was my fault. I was corrupt, dirty, shameful. Nothing good can come from me. Nothing good could come from my existence. And so to show myself, as I did in the first videos, I was showing the facade, and that's why I felt pain, because I thought, who is that? I don't know that person. There's something not right there. Gradually the facade dropped, and I started to reveal myself more honestly. And the vulnerability I felt was the fear of rejection. And I still feel vulnerable, but it's not the same. There is a vulnerability in just showing up. Just showing up as a question. Saying, here I am. What is this place? And the need for certainty I had when I was lost in my own trauma and illusion. That I could say, I know this about myself, I'm certain, I know this about the world. It reduces everything, I can grasp it. I don't need to worry about it anymore because I know it, it's fine. I can hold it. But to let go of that way of being and to show up for each moment as a question. What will I discover? There's no need for certainty. And for all I care, beyond these trees, the world could go on forever. It doesn't matter, it's not a threat. And I think for the first time in my life, I feel free. I feel free. And there is, I think, maybe a part of me, maybe a part of all of us that have experienced complex trauma in childhood that we then repeat over and over again. We never grow up. We never grow up. So to come back to yourself is to come back to the child, is to come back to the innocence. And that innocence is new, fresh. That wonder and awe at simply being alive in this place, whatever it is. I think we can come back to that. It doesn't mean we're immature, doesn't mean we're childish, but we can be childlike. So, time for a poem. So this is the book I return to more than any other book, and it's David Whyte, Essentials. And you know, ever since I started reading David Whyte's poetry, he has helped me immeasurably. And I go on a journey with each poem, and it's kind of like I treat it like it's a question that I'm asking myself, and I sort of work with a poem and I read it and explore it over the weeks and months. So I've been reading maybe 6 or 8 poems, and as I change, I discover more of his work. And so the poem I'm reading today is one that I came to about a week ago, and I read it, and I came to the end of the first page and I thought that was it, and I didn't turn the page because that was enough for me at that time. And then about 3 or 4 days ago I turned the page, and there's more. And the next page answered so many questions that I was mulling over at the time. So excuse my voice, but I'm going to read it. Okay, so this is David Whyte, A Seeming Stillness, from Essentials. We love the movement in a seeming stillness, the breath in the body of the loved one sleeping, the highest leaves in the silent wood, a great migration in the sky above, the waters of the earth, the blood in the body, the first soft stir in the silence beneath a strident voice, the internal hands of our mind, always searching for touch, thoughts seeking other thoughts, seeking other minds, the great arrival of form through all our hidden themes. And this breath, in this body, able just for a moment to give and to take, to ask and be told, to find and be found, to bless and be blessed, to hold and be held. We are all a sunlit moment come from a long darkness. What moves us always comes from what is hidden. What seems to be said so suddenly has lived in the body for a long, long time. Our life, like a breath then, a give and a take, a bridge, a central movement between singing a separate self and learning to be selfless. Breathe then, as if breathing for the first time, as if remembering with what difficulty you came into the world, what strength it took to make that first impossible in-breath into a cry to be heard by the world. Your essence has always been that first vulnerability of being found, of being heard, and of being seen. And from the very beginning, the one who has always needed and been given so much invisible help. This is how you were when you first came into the world. This is how you were when you took your first breath in that world. And this is how you are now, all unawares in your new body and your new life. This is the raw vulnerability of your everyday, and this is how you will want to be and be remembered when you leave the world. God, that says it all. That says it all. You know, when we are trapped, reliving the trauma, as I was my whole life, until very recently, it's here now, everything's here now. Everything that happened, it's right here. And for me, it was beyond any comprehension that there was another way to be. That somehow the past would actually be the past. But it does happen. It does. You just have to be fearless. You have to be willing to feel the pain, to explore it. Otherwise your life is not your own. you're being controlled by the past, you're still in a relationship with what happened, and you are, in some sense, perpetuating the abuse. As we do, we become our own abusers in our own thoughts. But you can be free. You can change your relationship to it. So don't ever give up. Okay, hopefully the next video will be from the shores of a frozen loch. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.